Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust meeting. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the June 18, 2013 Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
We'll vote. Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the Suburban School District application for funding. Item A. Mr. Todd.
Thank you. This is an application for funding from Midwest City, Del City Public Schools. This is for 3 buses and 1 sport utility vehicle for $302,264. This is for vehicles that will serve pretty much all their elementary, middle school, and high schools. And it is done through the usual procedure for the suburban school funding. I can answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Yes, Claudia.
So can you tell me on the Suburban, the SUV vehicle, I see that they're saying it will be used to transport high school students to extracurricular activities. So how many students does it hold? Can it carry?
Well, I think that the Suburban usually holds 6 to 8. It might be a basketball team. It might be track. We have members from Mid-Del schools here if you'd like to hear from them. Could you come on? No, right here.
Hi.
Right.
Very nice to meet you. So I was just curious, on the Suburban, why you use that as opposed to buses?
Well, usually it's more economical to use it. And usually if it's a track team or a tennis team or a swim team, it's easier to get in and out of the schools.
Okay, and who drives the car?
Usually a coach.
Oh, okay.
Or a bus driver, either one.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Todd, I assume it did meet up our standards for MAPS funding?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Is there a motion?
I will make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll vote. Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to approve amendment number 3 to contract for OC MAPS Program Consulting Services with ADG, Inc. It's an increase of $240,000 retroactive to July 1st, 2013, and extending the contract to June 30th, 2014. Mr. Todd.
Thank you. This is the contract that we've had with our program consultant, ADG. As you can see in the memo, that it started in 2008, and this is a contract that is renewable each year. Since we've completed the end of the original contract, it was anticipated that the Maps for Kids would finish in 2012, but we've extended that a couple of years now. So this extends their contract to allow them to continue to provide the services that they've been providing.
Are there any questions? Yes, Claudia.
I see under the compensation that there's an increase of about $240,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Can you tell me what that increase is for?
Well, it's for the review that they do for plans. It's for the representation in the field and the things that they've been doing all along in the program: support services, programming, plan review, as I said, coordination. And I might add that because we are kind of winding the program down, this is a reduction from last year's amendment that we had. So this amount is less because they're overseeing less.
Okay, so what does the increase represent if we're seeing less?
I'm not...
If this amount is less than last year's, then...
How much is that?
Yes, and why does it say an increase if it's actually a decrease?
Well, it's a decrease from what was increased last year at the amendment because the contract ended in 2012, so we did an amendment to continue through this fiscal year where we are. And I don't know, maybe Mr. Mice can help me out here on the amount. I think it was 300 and something, so now we're at 240 for an additional year.
Okay.
This is Mike Mice. In the previous contract had a specific scope of general services such as attending meetings, providing monthly reports, some of the things that you see, at a monthly fee of $25,000 per month. That contract expired as of June 30th, the previous June, just June 30th last week. This is an extension of that contract, but in recognition of the fact that the amount of work that we're going to do is lessened because we're slowing down, I mean, we're getting to the end of the project, we've reduced that monthly fee from $25,000 a month to $20,000 a month. So the overall increase to the contract is $240,000, but that represents a period of time that wasn't anticipated in the original contract.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for the clarification.
Could I ask,
Sure.
is there a reason, I had a similar question about the next agenda item, but where this is a fixed amount contract that does not depend on the amount of work, I'm wondering why it wasn't structured in a not-to-exceed amount.
Actually, I believe it is a not-to-exceed. And we get bills monthly from ADG, and as Mr. Mize just said, I believe it's $20,000 a month. So you're correct. It's not an amount not to exceed. The next one is. So your question is, why did we not structure it the same way?
Yes.
I don't know that I can answer that. Mr. Mize, do you know?
The original contract was a not-to-exceed for a specific period of time. The fact of the matter is that the amount of time that we're now engaged has increased by 1 year. That was something that we could not control or anticipate when we gave the original contract amount. So this amendment represents the fact that we would like to be engaged and provide these services for an additional year at the fixed amount of $240,000.
Yeah, I understand that, but my question is, why $20,000 a month when there may be some months when there's no meetings? As we're winding down, it would seem like the percentage of decrease should have been a bit more than, what was that, 20%? Does that make any sense? I mean,
the number of meetings is probably going to continue to be the same. Frankly, the amount of work that we're going to do is going to be pretty much the same as it was before. I mean, the monthly report may contain a few minor items, but actually preparing those reports, going to those meetings, that amount of time really isn't going to change significantly. The fact of the matter is that we'll probably spend pretty much the same amount of time. The other thing to remember is that there will be times, and have been many times, when you're right, there may be fewer meetings. There are also times when there are significantly more meetings. So, and we don't ask for additional fee when that happens. This is intended to try to average out the amount of time that we anticipate in conjunction with the MAPS office, what's going to be required for the coming year.
thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move to approve.
There's a motion? Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. We'll vote. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is to approve agreement for community outreach services between the Gooden Group, Inc. and the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust, fee not to exceed $100,000. Mr. Todd.
This is our contract with the Gooden Group that they do our grand openings. They do the meetings that we have. They do our ribbon cuttings, our groundbreakings. Of course, we're, for the most part, done with the groundbreakings, but they'll be doing a lot of grand openings here coming in the next year. So this is an amount not to exceed, and it will be billed on what takes place and what they do.
Question. Anthony?
I had a similar question, but really I kind of posed it for the last agenda item, but it does seem as if the amount should be coming down, and because this is a not to exceed, I just hope they will monitor that.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. We'll vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to recommend the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 89 approve Amendment Number 3 to contract for architectural services with MA Plus Architecture, LLC, for Capitol Hill High School, increase of $45,602 project EB0013. Mr. Todd.
This is a architectural contract amendment, as it states, for Capitol Hill High School. As the project went along, there was a lot of things that were identified and additional work that the architect did, and those you can see in your memo, multiple classroom revisions, stage floor issues, redesign of mailboxes, millwork changes. As I said, you can see all the items there in your memo, plus additional contract administration services. So as the construction contract extended out, they had to still be there, go to the meetings, do the inspections, and deal with the project and approve the claims. So staff has gone over with MA Plus as far as the work that they claim that they have done, and we have approved, and that represents the amendment of $45,602.
Questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We'll vote. Okay, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is for change orders. We have change order A, B, and C, and I'm wondering, do I need to read each one of these separately, or can we entertain? Want to go through them all together, and we'll vote on them together?
First change order is approved change order number 4 for Arthur Elementary School, increase of $16,197, project ES-0063. You can see in your memo there are several items in this change order. Some of the more significant ones are item number 1, there's a credit of $611 for fencing that we are not going to construct. There is some flooring preparation for $5,484. This was a condition that we see often in these renovations, is where the existing floor was removed and there were issues with the floor. Item number 5 is $4,121. At the school district's request, a drinking fountain is being installed, and the rest of the items are fairly small. Item B is approved change order number 5 for Jefferson Middle School, increase of $43,875.80, project ES-0071. Several items on this. In fact, there's 10 items. The most significant ones, number 1, at the school district's request, there's some existing metal cabinets in the science room that they requested be painted for $7,635.19. Item number 2, again at the school district's request, 2 metal doors will be installed in the tech ed classroom in lieu of the specified overhead door. And item 8, existing glazed block walls and 2 restrooms will be demolished to accommodate plumbing modifications, $7,590.10. Again, remember that as we get towards the end of some of these projects, we go ahead and do some changes that we see are necessary when we have the money. Now, this one's still out in October, but we can kind of predict what's going on, and it's not a large change. Item C, approved change order number 7 for Northeast Academy for Health Sciences and Engineering, increase of $74,718.63, project EB-0015 and ES-0080. There were some structural issues that came up. Item number 1, it's described as a ceiling deck panel, but what it actually is a structural, what we call a double T. It's a reinforced concrete beam in there that needed to be repaired because it had a crack in it. It's a sound system installation credit of $2,793.12. This was at the school district's request. They requested that we not install this sound system in the practice gym. So we're getting a credit for the installation. The sound system was actually purchased, and it'll go to the school district. There were wall repairs, item number 5, for $9,256.65. As we did the renovation and got into an air handling unit, the wall that was hidden back behind the air handling unit had received some water damage and was rotted, so it was replaced. Item number 7, the school district revised 2 business education classrooms for career business education classrooms, and that required additional data and electrical outlets, and that cost us $26,398.55. Item number 10 is a ceiling revision for $17,105.62. This, again, is one of those items that we couldn't see until we started demolition, and when they started demolition, they found the wood structure up in the ceiling, and that is not allowed by the fire marshal to stay in there. And then item number 12, asbestos containment. Rather than pay the high price for removing the asbestos from this air handling unit, it was decided to encapsulate it or enclose it. It's completely enclosed with walls so that it can't be accessed, and that's $5,641. I believe that's it on the change orders.
Are there any questions? Yes, Anthony.
Particularly as it relates to item 5, I will disclose again that I'm a member of the Enterprise Board of Northeast Academy, so I've spent a lot of time there in the building. And I have a continuing concern, which I expressed to the board on yesterday, that a tremendous amount of work has been done to improve our school buildings, and I don't think Northeast is unique in this. But a lot of the work that has been done with MAPS funds is being ruined by ongoing maintenance problems with the infrastructure of the buildings. A lot of the new flooring that MAPS has installed, a lot of the new cabinetry that MAPS has installed has been ruined by water leaks and condensation unit leaks. This item number 5, I'm assuming may be that wall that's in the basement, but replacing the wall does not fix the problem. The problem is the water that caused the wall to deteriorate. And I'm wondering if MAPS funds can be made available to address the infrastructural problems. And I asked the school district if school district funds can be made available to address the infrastructural problems. But the bottom line is that the infrastructural problems need to be addressed. And again, I don't believe the Northeast is unique.
At Northeast, there was a roof replaced by the district, I believe, about a year ago, and that is their roof. They know they have some issues, and I think they're doing some things to try and get that either repaired or fixed from the original construction. Councilman Pettis brought that up this morning also, and I will make sure that we talk with the district again about that roof, because I know it is an ongoing problem.
Any other questions? I do want to ask Mr. Todd, is it scheduled to still be completed by August 8th? Is that a good date for Northeast to be completed, or are we looking at an extension on that date?
That's what we see right now, is in your memo. Of course, as we go along, if we have more issues like we've come across, that could get extended, but that is our timeline.
So it's possible that we do another walkthrough and this may be extended a bit?
It could be.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We'll vote. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, item 8, is a concurrence with Independent School District number 89 in adopting a resolution ratifying the issuance of and approving agenda number 1, 2, and 3 for I-89 2007 school bond issue project S7001-2A, the Spiegel Stadium, extending time to award contract, awarding contract to Atlas General Contractors, LLC, base bid plus alternates 1 and 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, in the amount of $7,679,000, and approving contract and bonds. Mr. Todd.
Thank you. This is an item that was on the last trust meeting that we had to strike because of a technical issue, some concerns about the bid, but those have all been resolved, and we're ready to award this bid. This is somewhat of a companion item with Taft Stadium. So we're ready to award this and get to work.
Are there any questions? Anthony, go ahead.
Right on for U.S. Grant. As this project proceeds, again, we'll be very interested to monitor the progress, but it's a great thing that is moving forward.
Any additional questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll vote. Motion passes. All right, Mr. Clowes, an update, please.
Yes, Madam Vice Chairman. There are 20 schools in construction, and we're nearing completion on 7 elementary schools: Arthur, Capitol Hill, Hawthorne, Monroe, Parmalee, Prairie Queen, and Rockwood elementary schools. Belle Isle Enterprise Middle School and Capitol Hill High School are substantially complete. You may recall we advertised Phase 2 of Classen SAS a few weeks back, and we will open bids on that project a week from today on July 9th. The I-89 bond projects, construction is ongoing for classrooms and gyms at Wheeler, Monroe, West Nichols Hills, Parmalee, Hillcrest, and Pierce. The new final plans and specs for the gym location at Nichols Hills Elementary are still ongoing. And then final plans and specs for gyms and classrooms at Heronville, Fillmore, Prairie Queen, Rockwood, and Eugene Field are ongoing. And the school board approved the construction contract for Spiegel Stadium, and obviously you just concurred with that award, and you may recall that that Taft went a little bit earlier, and the council approved that under the concurrence docket this morning. That completes my report, unless Trustee Francisco and I want to do a duet of Fight On for U.S. Grant. I'll be glad to entertain that.
This I've got to hear. Claudia, you have a question? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clowes. Comments from trustees? Here's your chance, Anthony. Comments from staff? Citizens? Mrs. Parks, good to see you today. If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.